But just by shortening the word down to a single syllable, it becomes a slur. Yeah.
Oh, that's the argument, because gender is not in it. So if I call you cisgender, that's okay. It's just the term cis.
If it is intended to insult someone, and does, it is. Sorry. Those are your rules.
Oh, like, don't forget about the rules. You made the rules, not me. And the rules are as follows. If you shorten an original term, such as homosexual, down to something else, that new thing, that's a slur. So you've created a new N-word, basically. And at that point, that's a very vile term. So the term cisgender had the word gender in it, but you got rid of the word gender. And now it's just cis. That's all it is. So it's the exact same thing. Your rules, not mine.
Term cis, a slur.
Cis.
Yes, it is. Definitively and without question.
Thanks,
and I won't bear the lead for you. We'll break it all down. But just to start, for those on the left who stumble upon this video and are shrugging or rolling their eyes, cis comes from cis and trans in chemistry.
Oh, I don't know if you know this, Animation Assault, but I actually made this meme. I'm this channel, Memes of Production. That's funny. That's like the second time someone sent me one of my own memes and be like, "You'll like this," and I'm like, "Ah, I do," because I made it.
And that's basically where you get the idea from. Transgender. So then there is cisgender, someone who is not trans, right? Okay. They say that
trans
cis
is
is
someone
not a
who is
slur
not cis
because it comes from the scientific explanation, a descriptor for an individual who identifies with their assigned at birth gender.
No, it actually comes from Latin and is used in organic chemistry and has been used in organic chemistry uncontroversially as well, by the way. There's no one in organic chem who's like, well, this is secretly a slur, right? Cis?
Now, gender and sex may be different, but the biological sex of an individual is not assigned, it's observed. Now, why is cis a slur? We'll break it all down. We'll go through the arguments, but I won't bury the lead for you. Homo is a slur, right? You don't want to call someone that. It's very rude. It's very mean. It's offensive. But homosexual is the basic scientific term for an individual who's attracted.
Yeah. So, hey, you're shortening the term homosexual to homo. You understand what's happening here, right? Cis is just the medical term. It's accepted by the medical community. It would be absurd at this point for you not to accept it as a term used by the medical community. And also, it's not insulting unless you apply insult to it. So guess what? I don't think there's anything wrong with being either trans or cis. I don't consider calling someone trans to be an insult. You do. They all do. All the right thinks trans is an insult because they are constantly vilifying and insulting trans people. So to be called cis in return, they think it's somehow like a reaction. It's like, you call me trans, I'll call you cis. Instead of like, no, these are medical terms now accepted within the medical community for this. That we have language to explain things. Yes, absolutely. Don't worry, I'm going to get into the history of cis, by the way, because I'm sure he's going to go down the whole like, it was the Nazis that came up with this.
To a person of the same sex. Shortened to homo, it is almost always used in the context to deride someone, to ridicule.
If you think being homo is a bad thing, why do you think straight dudes say no homo when they do homo things? It's like, yo, bro, can I just like maybe wash your balls? They look a little dirty. It's like, yeah, but no homo. Just want to clean them. Yeah, no, I get it. No homo. Go to town. Yep. No, this is not gay because you've said the code.
And express contempt. Thus is cis the same thing. Right now, you can find.
If you're ashamed of being cis, sir, like someone could use cis as a slur towards you. It's like, hey, by the way, you're cis. It's like, no, I am biologically. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And all the videos from Pride where they're insulting people by calling them cis.
Oh, grow up. I'm so tired of this. People who are fucking in categories of privilege all of a sudden being like, oh, the people that we're marginalizing are making fun of us in return. What is this gallows humor, you see? And it's not the same. See, we're the oppressors. We're the sissies. We can take a couple of jokes. It's gonna be okay. If they want to use cis as a slur, that's funny. Get over it. You're cis. I'm cis. We're cis. Holy shit.
It's a slur. But let's break down the arguments and talk about the issue here. so you can better understand.
Yeah, after all that bullshit where they call you every name under the sun, Tim will sit across from you and be like, well, I think that you basically want to enact genocide. I think that you basically want to eliminate autistic people from the earth. I think that you basically want people to commit incest. I think that you basically live in a cult. I think that you're basically completely insane and you're part of a cult and you're genetically predisposed to believe in the things you're going to believe. All the things he's saying to me, by the way. So yeah, he can get off with all that. And then someone's like, by the way, you're cis. He's like, word.
It all started when Elon Musk said that cis is in fact a slur, and he's correct, right? You can also talk about Japanese. That's the name of a group of people that we say in English. Well, there is also, you could insult them by shortening that word, and that one I won't say, because that's an explicit ethnic slur.
Yes, yes. We're not calling people C's. We're not like, you're a bunch of C's. Yeah, I limited the IS, now it's a slur. It's a prefix. It's Latin. It's used in organic chemistry as well. This is so weird. Look, I gotta be honest, okay? I entertained the whole C word discourse. You know which discourse I'm talking about, okay? I had to talk to a lot of people online. There was a lot of people of the low melanin count variety who believe that it is a categorical, horrifying slur of the highest order, one that should never be used. And like, I was like, I don't really see a lot of examples of like Native and Black people calling white people the C word, and even if they were, so what? It's like, yeah, don't use slurs. That'll be my first recommendation always. Don't use slurs. They're low-hanging fruit, okay? They're certainly not an original clapback, and you shouldn't use derogatory language towards anyone for any category. Absolutely, unequivocally. I will stand behind that. But for the love of everything, you got to understand there's a severity and a consequence to people who are racialized within society repeatedly by the criminal justice system or a variety of other factors, such as indigenous people and Black people, and the use of slurs to dehumanize them, both historically and in a contemporary context as well, and people using those same, not the same, but people using other, terms to reference other groups. There's like, this is something that, yes, 100% requires nuance. You cannot just apply the broad strokes brush. You cannot be like, well, I actually make fun of everybody and I call everybody by this name, and just because I happen to say this about this one category, what? No, I insult everyone equally. That's what I was like. Okay, well, but you understand, broadly speaking, in society, not everyone's equal. So that's why, yeah. Either way, yeah, don't use slurs, but cis, goddamn. We went from the C word discourse being about biscuits and saltines and foodstuffs to this. Now cis, we've gone all the way to maximum oppression simulation. Like, this is the strongest oppression simulator I have ever seen the right try to embark on. Is this the metaverse? Is this what the metaverse was all along? It's just the oppression simulator of the highest order, and then Elon just got to it first? Cis is a slur. They cannot go after us cis folk by saying these derogatory terms. TERF is a slur. It's a slur.
But just by shortening the word down to a single syllable, it becomes a slur. Yeah.
Oh, that's the argument, because gender is not in it. So if I call you cisgender, that's okay? It's just the term cis? That's why he was saying homo before. I'm no homo, bro, by the way. Just want to say, okay? No homo. But, wow. All right.
If it is intended to insult someone, and does, it is. Sorry. Those are your rules.
Oh.
Well, here's the story. Elon Musk's cisgender slur remarks torn apart by lawyer. Really? Elon Musk's decision to categorize the term cis and cisgender offensive slurs on Twitter is not based on fact.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. It's fucking, he's basically got the like an anagram tier version of a trick he thinks he's found. He thinks he's found, and he's trying to employ that. Like, don't forget about the rules. You made the rules, not me. And the rules are as follows. If you shorten an original term, such as homosexual, down to something else, that new thing, that's a slur. So you've created a new N-word, basically. And at that point, that's a very vile term. So the term cisgender had the word gender in it, but you got rid of the word gender, and now it's just cis. That's all it is. So it's the exact same thing. Your rules, not mine.
Or reality, according.
It's the rules you've crafted inside your beanie, and now you're trying to extrapolate them as a gotcha.
To a discrimination lawyer. Sure. Musk weighed in on the trans debate on social media platform that he owns, and shocked many by coming down hard on anyone who uses the term. Attorney Andrew Lee.
Cis people were not kidnapped and enslaved to pick cotton. Well, okay, that might be true, but at the same time, the oppression of cis people has been as follows. You got to use pronouns. and learn names. And occasionally you might have to look at a rainbow, even if you think it doesn't represent you. So, I mean,
told Newsweek, Musk is trying to jump into a cultural war and create controversy, blah, 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 blah. Cis and cisgender are terms used to refer to people who identify with the gender assigned to them at birth, as opposed to trans and transgender people whose gender does not correspond to that which they were assigned at birth. Except it's a word imposed upon a group of people, often in a way to deride them. I will show you this example. Google search the definition of homo. Homo comes from homosexual, typically used of men, and it is the scientific and academic term for an individual who is attracted to the same sex. However, you can clearly see it is deemed offensive. But who deems it offensive? When does something become a slur? Simply using that word is not intending to be. I'm not intending to offend anybody.
So linguistics major, Mr. Poole here, notwithstanding. Twitter owner Elon Musk has declared both cis and cisgender are slurs on the social media platform, warning people who engage in repeated targeted harassment by using them face account suspensions. Just imagine if the roles were reversed, he said. The word cis or cisgender, by the way, he's including both, Tim. He doesn't fall into your guidelines. Cisgender is also considered a slur. So your new really neat trick of getting rid of the word gender in order to not qualify it means absolutely shit all. Cisgender refers to people whose gender identity aligns with one assigned at birth. Transgender, on the other hand, is the opposite and refers to people whose gender does not match their assigned sex. Currently, Twitter's guidelines define slurs and tropes as language which intends to degrade or reinforce negative or harmful stereotypes about a protected category. Cis people are not a protected category. We are not oppressed for being cis. The world caters to us. Bathrooms cater to us. Everything is organized around cis people. Everything. So yeah, it's not the same experience. I don't experience gender dysphoria. I don't worry about my healthcare being taken away from the government because a whole bunch of people don't understand the science behind any of this. I don't have to worry about that threat on a daily basis. Yes, these are points of privilege. This is a privilege that I have as being cis. I don't have to think about this shit. I never have to think about which bathroom I'm going into. As a dude, I was always going to the men's washroom. Where's the men's washroom? There it is. Okay, now I'm going to the bathroom. I don't have to sit there looking for perhaps a non-public bathroom, one that's only one stall, so that maybe, just maybe, there won't be a bigot around who's going to pull a camera out and start trying to find out if I'm cis or trans based on my washroom usage. That's not a fear that goes into my head any given day, let alone every time I go to the bathroom. That's something that trans people can experience, and it's fucking horrifying. Now it's something that cis people can experience too. Actually, I shouldn't undercut that as well. Now that there's investigations, there's way more cis people than trans people. So if you happen to be not considered typically very feminine, or if you're not feminine passing enough, even if you happen to be cis, well, hey, do you happen to be male presenting, but you happen to be a cis woman? Yeah, you may be investigated as you enter a bathroom now because, oh wait, what gender are you? What, are you a they, them? No, there's no they, thems in here. None of that. Get out. I want to police this. I will police your urine. I'm normal.
Calling out the word for being offensive, correct? I will say cis and cisgender in the same context. I'm not calling anyone that. But if you take a word, apply it to an individual who does not wish to be called that, in such a way that you intend to mock them, it is a slur. Now hold on there a minute. I'm not saying you're not allowed to insult people, by all means. I think people are allowed, I think free speech, right?
Good sentence. Well done. Very free. In 2015, the Oxford English Dictionary added the word cisgender to its ever-evolving listing. It defines the adjective as a designated person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds to his or her sex at birth, and is contrasted with transgender. The cis prefix, pronounced cis, was not manufactured by some progressive think tank the year before, as some might believe. Its origin is much older, acting as the yin to a much more popular trans-yang. On vocabulary, it's been suffixed with the prefix trans or transaction. I'm not going to say the last one. It simply has shielded away from the English language by comparison, with one notable exception, the scientific world. Sister molecules in chemistry. Nature provides fascinating examples of how to multiply what you can do with a limited set of building blocks. For example, two molecules can have the exact same formula, the same atoms in the same order, and yet behave very differently. That is because the orientation of these atoms in three-dimensional space is a distinct property. If we were to flatten these two molecules onto a line, they would be identical. But fluffing them up in space would show their difference. Let's take the two molecules here. They look the same to me, kind of, although there's a bit of a flip-up going on there. But anyways, at their core is a pair of carbon atoms in a double bond. Think of you and your friend standing in front of each other. You grab their left arm and your left hand. You grab their right arm with your right hand. You have a solid double bond. On either side of this double bond, there's a methyl group consisting of one carbon atom surrounded by hydrogen atoms. But in the first molecule, both methyl groups are on the same side of the double bond, whereas in the second molecule, they're on the opposite sides. Up, up versus down, up. Both molecules are called 2-butene, and the fact that their methyl groups point in different directions must also be specified. In Latin, trans means on the other side of, across, beyond. Transylvania means beyond the forests. Transatlantic means across the Atlantic Ocean, and the molecule on the right is known as trans-2-butene because its methyl group are on the different sides of the double bond, which means the molecule on the left side is cis-2-butene, where cis means on this side. In both of your feet are on the same side of a line, they are in the cis configuration. Move one of them across the line and you've achieved a trans configuration. Everyone at home right now, you could achieve a trans configuration with your feet if you so choose. Draw a line in the sand. Make a choice. You may not think the molecules are doing the hokey pokey would amount to much, but it does. The fuss over trans fat boiled down to up, up, good, down, up, not so good. Fatty acids can be said to be saturated with their carbon atoms or bound to many hydrogen atoms as they can handle. When some of these hydrogens are shed, it allows carbon atoms to form double bonds with each other, and that's where we get to the heart of the matter. In the meat and milk of cows, these double bonds tend to be in the cis configuration. It creates kinks in the chain like a centipede going through an obstacle course. Trans fats do occur naturally, though they are not common. But the problem arose when we started artificially creating them from margarine by a process known as partial hydrogenation, flipping cis bonds into trans bonds because it was more energetically favorable at the molecular level. Science. That's science, bitch.
Call people what you want to call them, I guess. And if you're a dick, I don't want to associate with you. If you're the kind of person that wants to go around insulting people using slurs, targeting them based on their identity, yeah, I don't want to associate with you. So on the left, they say cis. And I say, yeah, when you piss people off intentionally, I'm not on board with that. And
so he draws the line at cis people referencing to each other with, again, now widely understood medical terminology. That's too much. If you're going to refer to yourself in, again, the proper medical sense, yeah, no, we can't pal. Now I'm going to bring on Nick Fuentes, John Doyle, Jack Pasebic, Elijah Manley. Let's have them all on the show to hear what their thoughts are on the Jews. What do you think, boys? Can we learn some things from all of y'all? Oh, look. Hey, it's Ye. What do you got to say about this, Ye? What are your thoughts on this topic? Slurs.
And there's a moral line, don't get me wrong. Certainly I say things on Twitter where I will intentionally make someone angry or something like that. Typically it's always in...
You call every fucking person that disagrees with you right now a groomer. Everyone. You're calling him a Vigland a groomer, saying that she's handing out fucking pornography to 10-year-olds. You called Call of Duty Call of Groomers and said everyone in Activision is a groomer. Again, it was so broad and so ridiculous that I don't even know if it's actionable. But at some point, Tim Heidecker was hinting at this. He was like, should I sue Tim Pool for the amount of times that he's defamed me and called me a groomer with zero substantiating evidence for that claim? And like, at some point, there is going to be someone with enough money and time who's going to be called a groomer by you because it's your favorite fucking go-to insult, James Lindsay. It's going to have consequences. Absolutely.
An academic or political or cultural context in an argument, I do not like just insulting.
In response to Tim calling me a pedophile on his show, lying about what I said, desperately trying to distract from the clips of him getting embarrassed during my appearance, I'm lucky I have a platform to debunk these smears. The teacher he targets don't have that luxury. True.
But that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Understand, this is fundamentalism being essentially whitewashed through people like Tim. And
Elijah Schaefer, not Elisha Manley. Sorry, Elijah Manley. No, Elijah Schaefer. I meant to say Elijah Schaefer. Thank you. Keep my chat corrects me, and then I call them wrong because I'm always right. Yes, no, you all misheard me. I definitely said Elijah Schaefer the first time.
Because Emma called him out on it and showed him for the farce that he is, knowing nothing about sex education. He lied.
He lied. And this is what
he has to go and then go on and say that she's a pedo.
And that's the thing is, like, he's been doing this to people with a ton less power than me, right? To a random teacher or somebody who doesn't have a platform to speak out and say, this is clearly not my intention or what I said.
Or your words,
but he
or purpose.
Turned that on me because I embarrassed him so thoroughly and I made him into a joke that he needs to indicate to other people that might be on the left or left of center that might be coming on his program, You don't do this.
Yeah.
You don't come in here and be adversarial and go after me.
Exactly.
This is a warning sign because I'm going to come on my next show.
Emma did so well. I have no idea how she didn't lose her temper. I like the same thing with a lot of people. It's because it's like, it's deeply unserious. It's like, it's not real anger. You're not like staring at someone and you feel intimidated because the person across from you is like, I'm talking loud and now I'm an authority on this topic. You know, like, this doesn't sound serious.
And you keep saying, but my kids need food.
Like, I'm not like, oh shit, he's popping off. He might reach for the fucking musket on the wall. He's gonna grab that musket, oh no.
And I'm going to call you a pedophile and say that the only assumption you can draw based on words you didn't say is that you want to have sex with children.
And the fact that he has to say, which is laughable, with all due respect, that Emma is a pedophile is an indication of just how much his fifis have been hurt by her not sticking around and having sushi and making it as cool as skate park.
That's the only thing responses he's had is the skate. You lied about the skate park, which I didn't see.
It's just so funny. He wants to be their friend so bad. It's like, but why? Why wouldn't you go for, like, you know, for pre-drinks with me, and then we were gonna have apres. I know a good spot for apres. It's really good. It's not like a Chili's or anything. It's kind of like, it's higher end. Okay, it wasn't gonna be generic. I was gonna cover all of it. We can have all the apres we want. They even have alcohol. Okay, I know we don't drink here, but you could even get like a drink if you wanted, Emma. Come on.
I was thinking about the indoor one. Who cares? And the pedophilia stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's just.
And he can get his red face and indignant on his show, acting like he sincerely has that concern, but we all know that it's a cope.
No, we all know that he received a ton of mockery over the weekend. He stewed on it, and he came.
To be fair, the same thing happened that always happened. I saw what all the right-wingers are posting, and they were all posting those pictures, like those clips of Emma, completely taken out of context to do exactly what Tim Pool said he wanted to do. He's like, all I gotta do is I gotta get her in there, and I gotta get that one moment where she's basically saying that she would be completely fine with this, the biggest piece of pornography ever created in human history, being given to children. And she said that, so now she's a pedo forever. So yeah, I got that, you know, we fucking rocked her. And then boom, yeah, of course, the post-millennial, fucking Andy No, all these motherfuckers are quoting, tweeting, Christopher Rufo, you name it, all the fucking, the ghouls, all were posting clips of Emma, all those clips, like, the same thing they did for me, same thing they did for everyone, same thing they did for Binder, same thing they do for every leftist who comes on. They want that one little teeny little clip to be like, lol, look at this, look at how absurd the left is. Yeah, they've completely lost their minds. Look at this clip. Emma says she wants to give pornography to 10-year-olds. Disgusting. Absolutely deplorable.
Came in and he said, this is my best tactic to oppose her because he had nothing else.
Yep. Absolutely. It's what inspired me to make this meme.
Oh! Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Whoopsie.
Finish him.
Whoopsie. Sometimes nobody's perfect, but sometimes I think it can be warranted. But what we say on Timcast IRL,
I enjoy this meme.
Keep your arguments academic.
I know my people.
Don't just call someone a name. Explain about why you are upset with what they do. Let's read some more about this. Where's this? Who's this lawyer?
It's just like they're all such deeply unserious people that, like, you could never be in good faith, sit in a circle with Tim. Like, just on its surface, this is so comical for someone to be like, I believe what you've done is you've insulted me. You've insulted my honor. And so, so what are you saying? Duel? Because I called you sis? Like, is that muskets at fucking 5 a.m. In fucking a fortnight? Is that what's happening here? Because I called you sis?
Many prominent conservative commentators have applauded Musk, blah, blah, blah. Even J.K. Rowling. Elon Musk said repeated targeted harassment against any account will cause the harassing accounts to receive.
Who's using sis to call people names? Well, I'll be honest. As soon as this all happened and I realized what snowflakes they all are, we, being a lot of the online left, went to town. Like, everything they were saying, like, fucking sissy, goddamn cis piece of shit. So it wasn't trans people doing it. It was cis people. I was just like, it's just so upside down, you know? The whole thing is just fucking so deeply unserious and at the same time so real. Like, these people will do and put out this kind of absolute abject nonsense. Oh, the Eminem's not fuckable, Dr. Seuss books, cancel culture in 1984. Meanwhile, the shit they're doing is inflaming and infuriating and indoctrinating, like, extremists to such a degree that they're committing violence. So they're all just like, lol, let's eliminate transgenderism from society, lol. And in the other direction, they're not ever taking like any kind of like consequence for the real world actions of some of the ghouls that are coming out from all this. Like, you know, when it comes to Tim Pool, look no further than the Club Q shooter, right?
Tell me in your own words what it is you did that makes you feel that you are guilty of these crimes.
I intentionally and after deliberation caused the death of each victims listed in those counts. And then with the attempted first-degree murder counts with intent to commit murder in the first degree, took a substantial step toward committing murder in the first degree of each of those victims.
And what about the bias-motivated crimes?
Because of the evidence presented, I believe that there's a high probability of being convicted at trial.
The high probability being that this is a massive bigot. This bigot had straight up fucking target practice, rainbow fucking shooting range shit. This bigot used the F-slur consistently when neighbors reported to what, you know, the kind of things that they were saying. In addition to all of this shit, was an avowed fucking ran a neo-Nazi forum on the internet. This is a piece of shit of the highest order. And yeah, the evidence is kind of overwhelming in this case in terms of like, yeah, I was not expecting a 100% guilty plea, or sorry, guilty fucking announcement. But this is actually good news for the families because now they don't have to live through this fucking horrifying trial. They don't have to give testimonies. They don't have to watch videos of fucking cadavers and shit like that. They will be able to start getting some peace in this respect. And yes, the families are asking for life in prison, which I don't think is an unreasonable offer considering the circumstances. Yeah.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
Thank you kindly to our Lord and Saviors Peyton L. Just and Xander Corvus. Without you, we are nothing. And now, a shout out to our Knights of the Square Table. Amazing Flesh, Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, DM Rivera, Doug Cady, Everything Important, Hegbard Celine, Izzy Solidarity, La Media Panza, Matthew Scarborough, Multimondi, Nettle, Omni, Peanut Butter Blonde, Political Papi, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Kubi, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Dimmel, Thomas, Trevbot EXE, Lucidry, Words Greenwood, Cheryl Alvarez, Tony Perkins, Thomas, O'Pecker, Travis McClinton, and Victoria Bell. Thank you so much. And a huge shout out to all the other people who make this entire show possible. Without you, it would not exist. If you can support us, please go to patreon.com/theserfs, and even $1 can help unlock all of the little goodies and help make this show entirely possible.